Stugotz. All right, I told everybody I would do it. I wasn't going to dress this crap tonight. Yeah, I'm complete with the shorts and with the decks. I can't put them on right now, but what's up, everybody? It is, hey, how you doing, everybody? It's March 9th, 2020. Welcome to this edition of the Don, Tony, and Kevin Castle Show. I am Don, Tony, as always, and join along with me is...
Kev freaking Castle.
What's going on, eh?
What's up with you?
I'm just sitting here having a little espresso. I had a little bit too much caffeine tonight. I'm kind of shaking over here.
Jeez, you gotta watch out for that Corona. Don't have any Corona.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. Hey, we're about to break 8,000 on YouTube. So I told everybody I'd go a little old school. This is a legitimate kabichi from 1980. Figured I'd have some fun today, and unfortunately I have to remove these glasses because these are prescriptions, but what's going on, everybody? I'm trying to get myself in a better mood from yesterday's pay-per-view. Believe it or not, I actually watched a little bit of it back today, and I will tell you that I have the same view that I did yesterday. Some people, I think, hear our show, but they don't listen because we weren't criticizing the effort of Shayna Baszler. We weren't criticizing the concept of her destroying everybody. A lot of people were bringing up today that this was an idea that Paul Heyman wanted to do several years ago with CM Punk, making everybody tap out in the chamber, and Vince McMahon nixed that idea. So it's not... why they did it, it was the execution. Also the fact that you don't have the Raw heavyweight champion on the show, the Smackdown heavyweight champion on the show. You don't have either women defending their titles. You know, it just felt like a B show. I honestly, if you look at that card 5 years from now, just the results, people are going to think, what was this, a house show? What is this? I mean, no disrespect to the people that were involved, but, you know, to me, and I said it yesterday, that yesterday's Elimination Chamber was designed for one thing and one thing only, and that is Becky Lynch. And sure enough, you kind of feel it. You see it coming. She's going to overcome the odds, possibly, that is Shayna Baszler, and, you know, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Has your feelings changed since last night's pay-per-view? Because, look, we were doing our review and recap literally 5-10 minutes after it ended. So now it's sunk in for 24 hours. I mean, has anything from yesterday changed on you other than the fact that we found out that Daniel Bryan's testicles were exposed and we didn't pick up on that yesterday? Did you hear about that?
No, because we were concerned about him being dropped on his neck.
Yeah, well, you know, his balls were hanging out yesterday for real. TMZ. You know, just think about this for a minute. TMZ. I understand they like to report every little fart going on in entertainment land, but Daniel Bryan is like doing a suplex or a move yesterday, and his balls pop out. And they actually write it as breaking news. What is that?
Did they show a clip of it? I didn't see
They blurred the balls out. There's just like, you know, it's distorted. But if you go online, you actually, you know, for some of you out there, you might want to see it. Hey, you want to see what Daniel Bryan's testicles look like, or one of them? You could go on social media because the unblurred version is around.
And yet, did they mention him being dropped on his head? And
No. No, but his balls were a big time story today.
Oh, good Lord. His balls, the coronavirus, a lot of different things we're going to talk about tonight. I don't feel much differently than I felt last night. I was still kind of angry about the pay-per-view. I mean, again, you know, look, it's on the network. We're paying the same thing per monthly fee that we always do. Been a subscriber for years now. Was going to watch it anyway. So, you know, not a big deal. So what? Disappointed. But again, the overall pay-per-view was just crap, with the exception of Bryan match, obviously. Now with the added bonus of a ball shot. But other than that, you know, it wasn't, there's nothing really like today. I just woke up and just, but I'll say this as we segue into tonight's opening of Raw. Becky cut a good promo tonight. I wish she would have did that the last couple of weeks to build this up, and maybe people wouldn't have been so indifferent to Shayna. I think Becky is responsible in a lot of ways for the indifference that people show her, because Becky's been kind of bizarre. Her character's been weird, morphing into this, version of, almost wacky Becky, like Wacky Dean a couple of years ago. A lot of people don't like this. Tonight she cut a serious promo. I liked it. And people saying, "Oh, Kev, what you think of the promo?" I'm like, actually, it was good. I got to give her props. I'm not going to shit on her all the time. She cut a good promo tonight. And I would. Is it too little, too late, DT? Now, if she starts taking Shayna seriously with 4 weeks to go?
I never thought Becky wasn't taking her seriously. This was just the way WWE wanted to present her on TV. If you remember a year and a half ago, she was all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but gradually morphed into the man. Then she started trying to act like The Rock, talking about her in the third person. Then, if you remember her social media phase where she was picking a fight with everybody and throwing insults, and she started to come off like an asshole. And they trimmed that back a little bit. And then they did they commingled her and Seth Rollins is still paying for that today. And then she, they like change her attitude a little bit at a time. I'm just waiting for when they, her and Baszler in the back start beating up cops and stealing cars and commandeering vehicles and, just assaulting men, because remember, when it comes to the women, they got to be pulled apart. They got to be grabbed, held back. But when it's the men, no, Randy, no, Randy, no. I actually, you and I had this little discussion a week or two ago. There was no doubt in my mind that she would get the majority of cheers. And Shayna Baszler, again, I have no problem with her dominating the way she did yesterday. It's just, you look at the participants in the match. I watched it back today to see a little bit that I might not have noticed early on, but nothing against some of these women that are in the match. But, someone like what's her face? The Viking. Sarah Logan. She does that dive off the top, and now all of a sudden she's dive happy, until she clips Natty in the mouth and hits this person in the head. And, they're not high flyers, and I know that they're trying really, really hard to get those moments that the fans, all you need is one or two awesome spots. Unless your name is Dana Brooke. Remember Dana Brooke, that she did that one spot, I think in like the Money in the Bank or something like that, and she thought, and she literally had this look on her face like, I've made it. I just got career orgasm. Like I just made it. And she thought that one dive was going to do it for her. No, it's just not the way it works. But these women are going out of their element to really prove their worthiness. And honestly, that's not fair to Sarah Logan. That's not fair to Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan, let's listen. I know some of you out there are going to think, oh, that's sexist and this and that. Liv Morgan is a hot piece of ass. And the reason why I feel comfortable in saying that, besides she's a hot piece of ass, is if you go online, she posts tons of pictures of her modeling in bikinis. She shows off her beauty. She doesn't need to do these unbelievable crazy dives and, getting the suspension of disbelief that a head is going into the side. I know it's to sell Shayna Baszler as an animal, but you don't need that with Liv Morgan. Her sex appeal could help her on its own. She's aesthetically nice to look at. Sarah Logan, like I said, to me, her character, I don't even know what that is. You know what I mean?
It's like Mojo Rawley, who put the markings on his face at one point. If you remember, he just came out with like these squiggly lines. Sarah Logan's just trying anything. Camo. She's a Viking. Then she looks like a huntress. And she looks like Barbarella. She came out looking like. That's an old reference. People have to look that up. Again, she's trying anything. To get herself I don't even know over, but just to stand out different and screaming, doing the scream. It's not really catching on, unfortunately. You know
Hey, Andre Corbeil, what's up, my friend? By the way, for those that tune in on YouTube, I'm going to start utilizing the super chat more, because I'm still new over here and I don't know how things are really utilized to their potential and this and that. And I know a lot of you out there want to, just see like goofy things and this and that. So I actually uploaded today about 30 pictures of yours truly looking ridiculously goofy. This is super chat when I was super fat. And so, in the future, we'll start putting up little clips and videos and pictures, just to get it a little more interactive. And, from now on, if you want to post something, you can ask me anything. It doesn't have to be wrestling, it could be anything. We're going to get this a little more interactive. And yes, I monitor the chat room, and yes, I do the moderating as well. But now we want to get this a little bit more interactive. So I just wanted to do it. And before we go any further, I got to just mention this very quickly. It would be really, really terrible if I didn't. I got to give major shout out to Mish and a major shout out to Shaheen of Nuclear Heat Graphics, because this weekend here in Queens, New York, they had the big event. And Undertaker was there, Braun Strowman was there, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Cowboy Bob Orton, Jimmy Hart. The list goes on. And I had a brain fart. I thought it was in April. And sure enough, I think it was Saturday evening. Like Shaheen says to me, "You going?" I'm like, "Going where?" He's like, "The big event." I'm like, "When is it?" He's like, "Tomorrow." I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, you got to go this and that." So I went last minute. I got to meet a ton of you out there, had a ball, took pictures with tons of people. Art Moore. A lot of you don't know who this guy is, Art Moore, but if you look back on my wall, I always plug Shaheen's artwork, but you see that Piper artwork over there, the Moxley artwork. He gave me so many original prints that he drew. And, like I had heard of him before, I had no idea that he was a big fan of all the shows. And you could see right there, that is yours truly, Art Moore, and that is Mish. We hung out this weekend, and I got to spend a little time with the broken one, Matt Hardy. And what was discussed, we'll talk about it later on this week. Probably going to do breakfast soup on Thursday, because Mish is settling in his new apartment. He's actually going to be hooking up his computer tomorrow. So we'll get into detail as far as what went down. But, just spending a little time with Jimmy Hart, James J. Dillon, just so many stories that I have to share with everybody. But we'll definitely get into that later this week. I know if it's really unfair to you, Kev, if I bring it up now, because you weren't there, so it'd be kind of.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
I know it's in November. Is it in November? Isn't it?
Well, it's the next one, I believe, is going to be in November, and I know everybody is getting together for that one. So, in fact, for anybody that's in the Jersey area, or if you're interested, Jack Sabbath's ICW show is going to be March 22nd in Jersey. It looks like I'm going. I know Mish is going. You're welcome to go too, Kev. Shaheen is going. And I got to hang out with Jack Sabbath. First time we talked in about 13 years. And he admitted that, he had searched to kick my ass many years ago.
Really?
Yeah, got to hang out with Mr. Big. And, I need to also do something. This is very, very important. All jokes aside. Mm-hmm. Last week, and, I thought about this after the convention was over. And I felt really, really bad for this. Bill Apter also. Wonderful guy, and he really made me choked up, because he remembered me from XPW. Oh. And it was just, I'll tell the story later this week, but I know he wasn't just bullshitting me. He brought up something that happened there that he was involved in also. And he brought that up, and I said to myself, holy shit, this guy really does remember. It blows me away that he does. But anyway, last week, or the week before when I did the AEW Revolution recap, I cut it short and I told everybody publicly that, you know, my stomach was all messed up. I had to blow up the bathroom and this and that. And then I started feeling better. And last Monday I started feeling good and I felt bad again. Well, it ends up, yours truly was not sick at all. In fact, tomorrow I have to go to my gastroenterologist again for a follow-up appointment. For those that don't know, this past Thursday, I went to my gastro doctor because of this stomach problem, and I started getting nervous with this coronavirus because I started really feeling like shit, like drinking crazy water, and you know, and it ends up that the keto diet I'm on, especially that I have my gallbladder taken out about 5 months ago, I started baking and making a lot of recipes over the last 2 weeks, and I was using a sugar alcohol called erythritol. And I was using a lot of it because apparently it doesn't, you know, spike your blood sugar and it's safe for keto. And one of the major side effects is unbelievable cramps, bloating, diarrhea, everything else. Oh. So Thursday, when I started getting worried about maybe I got a virus, I went to the doctor and he checked me out. And he's like, have you changed anything with your diet lately? Remember, you got your gallbladder taken out and I'm on keto. And I said, well, you know, I started cooking more and this and that. And he told me, make a list. And as I'm writing it down, he's like, stop. He says, that's your problem. He says, did you ever look at the side effects for erythritol? And I said, no. He says, how much have you been using? And I said, you know, I make, you know, soda, or I put a teaspoon in there. He's like, that's your problem. So ever since I stopped using erythritol on Thursday, I'm fine. And the reason why I'm saying this now is because when I went to the big event, I was hugging people, gave a couple of people a kiss on the cheek, you know, shaking hands. And it was Bill Apter that came up to me and he's like, no. He's like, you know, fist bump. That's what everybody's doing now, fist bump. And I was like, I got no virus, and I'm not worried about anybody else having a virus. But after the event was over, I started thinking about it. I was like, you know, I was probably very disrespectful to others who have their own safe space. They don't want to get sick. They don't even want to have the emotional scare of thinking that. And I apologize for everybody out there. I mean, look, I wasn't the only one. If you look at Matt Hardy and others taking pictures of people. People had their arms around each other. You know, it's nothing like that, but I felt a little bit bad after because I should have just, you know, especially because I had joked last week about having the runs like crazy. I don't want anybody freaking out after and being like, you know, son of a bitch has the virus and he's giving me a hug. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? So I needed to really apologize to everybody. I'm sure nobody out there took any, you know, concerns over it. But I wanted to let you all know it was sugar alcohols, not a virus. Sorry for the rant, but I really needed to do that. I really needed to clear that up.
That's cool. No, that makes sense. But let's stick on that subject because I want to ask you, and Mish is in the chat too. Was there anything, because it's affected my business, it affected 40% of attendance this week.
No.
Was there anything going on at the big event? Because, you know, WWE, you saw there was a story, and it's pretty legitimate. No more touching, no more hugging the wrestlers.
I don't buy that.
No, I believe that. It's actually there's a bunch of different stories talking about it. They're instituting it at a lot of places.
Angel Garza, a lot of wrestlers this weekend were interacting with fans. I mean, what they're doing is they're just telling to be a little bit more careful, and you know, but this idea of no time. See, what's happening, Kev, is similar to Undertaker, AJ Styles, and other things. People see something going on and they immediately assume that they know the news story. This Brad Shepard, I haven't, you know, exchanged words with him ever, but he's like the biggest jerk off as far as journalists go, wannabe journalists.
And this guy,
yeah, this guy, you know, look, of course he got it wrong with the coronavirus, you know, because they claimed that a WWE employee got it and this and that. But what was even worse was Scott Steiner. For those that don't know, Scott Steiner this weekend collapsed after the Impact wrestling event, and his heart stopped. They rushed him
during the event.
I think it might have been right after. Well, it was at the event, and they rushed him to the hospital. And I think it was Ross Sapp. I think
Sean Ross Sapp who broke the story.
He's the one that broke the story.
Him and Shepard going at it of who broke the story.
Well, what happened was Ross broke the story, and then Shepard rewrites it and says, my sources tell me. He does that shit all the time. The reason why I don't ever bring this goof up, and I broke my goof pledge for the month of March, but he deserves it, is, I'd pay no mind to him. He's just like a goof, and that's it. But the thing is that, just the desperate need to feel like you got an exclusive. WWE on Fox's Twitter account that you and I talked about yesterday, they actually went out of their way to let everybody out there know that this Brad Shepard with the coronavirus story was bullshit. And what they're doing is they're seeing what's going on with coronavirus. They see that, like sports teams are, trying to stay away from fans and that. So what do? They take that and they say, oh, WWE sent them, my sources tell me that WWE sent a memo that there's a no-touch policy. And what's interesting is they wrote that after they saw the picture of Sasha Banks wearing surgical gloves at an autograph signing. So you see something in the news and you try to put two and two, just like the Saudi Arabia disaster, when, they saw a couple of things and they tried to assume that they knew the answers and they got it wrong. So the Scott Steiner thing, Sean Ross Sapp had originally wrote it, and his jerk off tries to claim, and then you got these two guys having a fight over it, and it's like, hey, how's about we just pray for Scott Steiner and you shut the fuck up?
And by the way, it was a heart related thing. He's having or had a procedure done, and he's supposedly going to be okay.
Yeah, I just wonder if Scott Steiner's career is going to come to an end, because
he'll be 50. He'll be 58 this summer. So I didn't even know he was that young, DT. I thought he was in his 60s. He's only 57.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what he has used in the past.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm be a fool.
Yeah, I mean, and I gotta say, man, I posted a tweet on Saturday night, and I said that I'm 99% hopeful he's got 141 and 2/3% chance of 100% recovery. That was a takeoff of his infamous promo on Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle, the mathematics, and it blew up. But what pissed me off was, as I'm reading the feedback, I see all these cold-hearted bitches talking about, steroids bit him in the ass. He deserves this and that. Oh, you see, that's what you get for doing steroids. Shut up. The guy obviously did things in the past that are coming back to haunt him, but you don't stand there and go, see, that's what you get. You deserve it. That's what you get. And there's just some really horrible people out there. Horrible.
Well, I guess because they're, Steiner has bashed some of their favorites. You know how wrestling fans are, DT. If you're a big fan of Triple H or you're a big fan of Hulk Hogan, Scott Steiner has said some heinous shit about those two guys. And if you're a super fan of Hogan, we know Hogan has a lot of fans. And
Hogan said a lot of fucked up shit too.
Oh no, he did. But how it is, DT. We get attacked if we jump on a wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
If we even make a criticism. So people who are really down with their favorite wrestler, man, they will call you every name in the book, including wishing death on you, which is ridiculously over the top. That's ridiculous. It's fucking wrestling.
I want to give a special shout out to David Peralta. I know he wanted to hang out last weekend. Look. You don't need to make any excuses, my friend. He went to a wrestling event and got to meet, a bunch of wrestlers, entertain me throughout his life. He was there, but we just didn't connect. I mean, there was some people after that we didn't hook up. And by the way, I got to say this too. I'm not taking anybody named specifically, but a couple of people thought they were cute trying to poke fun at me, saying that, I'm wearing my own shirt. First of all, every indie wrestler wears their own shirt. Am I an indie wrestler? No. But at one point, although I was god-awful at it, I managed on Indie Feds for about 60 shows in my lifetime. And I wore the shirt because, number one, this way people could find it easier to spot me. And number two, if the shirt looks cool, then maybe someone else will buy it. So, some people were trying to make jokes at me saying, oh, you're wearing your own fucking shirt? Yeah. Tell me what's wrong with that. Next time you look at any indie person or anybody, manager or anything else, and they're wearing their own shirt, trying to shill their own shit, what's wrong with that? I just felt like, again, it made me feel like the Jericho Cruise. that simply because, people were going on the Jericho cruise, that people out there had to make fun of them simply because they were doing something that they were enjoying. There's always people out there, they try to shoot you down, they try to shoot me down, they try to shoot a lot of our listeners down.
Oh, I know.
So, David, I'm glad that you had fun, man. Many other opportunities for all of us to get together. And this will segue. Shout out to the Dream 101. Will WrestleMania be canceled? Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll be canceled. I think it's going to go on as planned. It's interesting because we have yet, and I've monitored it, we have yet to see any non-wrestling site, mostly in the stock market, yet to write an article saying that despite the coronavirus, WWE expects to have thousands of fans from overseas coming into Florida. And, you got to trust the airlines in the respective countries to do their testing. Remember, my niece went to Italy. She was supposed to go 6 weeks ago, and she was supposed to stay there for 3 months. And she's home. She's back in New York. She only stood there 2 weeks because her school shut down in Italy. She flew back. Yeah, she flew back. And when I saw her last week, I said, how did you get back so fast? And then I asked her, I said, how did you get back in the United States with no issues? And she said to me that they were testing for fever and this and that. And she didn't stay home. She got home and she went out with her friends right after. So United States may be really on the ball with this. And I know people want to criticize Trump, whatever. But we got to really be concerned about some countries out there that are not as strict and thorough with their testing. And all you need is one sick person to go to Mania, go to Access, especially, they're not going to just listen to soft music and meditate. People are going to be yelling and screaming, and there's going to be spittle going all over the place and high fives. I mean, God, when Edge came out at the Royal Rumble, we played the video. You saw strangers hugging each other, high-fiving.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even realize it sometimes.
Yeah. Personally, I know this is going to sound ridiculously stupid, but the synopsis photo I used today, it's a little bit comical with all the wrestlers wearing masks. But prepare yourself now for the visual, everybody. When you watch WrestleMania on your television, you are going to see thousands of fans wearing masks. Yeah. I don't know if we'll have any, hey, get your mask over here, $15. Get your mask, get your gloves. I don't know if we're going to have like Pablo on the street corner trying to, sell it for like 300% over the list price. But you're going to see tons of people. In fact, I personally think WWE should go out of their way and give everybody a fucking mask. They want to keep it, put it on eBay. In fact, I don't even think they should put it on eBay as a collectible because you don't know if somebody wore it or not. But I think WWE put their logo on it or whatever. Everybody that goes gets a mask and maybe gets a little bottle of hand sanitizer. How much does that cost? That's a tax write-off for them. They should give every fucking person attending a little bottle of hand sanitizer and a mask. Don't have to force them to put it on. That would give them positive press, and that would also ease a lot of fans' minds because there are a lot of people going. I came this close to going, but unfortunately I got a wedding to go to the day before, and my fiance's birthday is April 5th, WrestleMania, and I promised her months ago that I was going to take her out. So, all you need is one person to get sick, and it starts the chain reaction. This person goes back to the hotel, hangs out with his friends, then they all go their separate ways, and then this person goes home to mommy, and this one goes home to daddy and girlfriend and parole officer, and it just starts the chain reaction. So I don't think it's going to be canceled, but WWE really need, especially with this stock being horrible right now.
Yeah.
It's down to like $41 a share.
Yeah, I saw.
They should post a press release now saying that they plan on giving everybody a mask and a bottle of hand sanitizer at minimum. It's a fucking tax write-off, and I wouldn't doubt that they could possibly get a grant from the government for giving this out to the fans.
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, listen, when Ultimate Warrior passed away, they gave out that Warrior mask to everybody in the crowd in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I mean, they can do that, and the same thing. I think that's a good idea, DT, and to show that they're not putting their head in the sand. That outside of protecting their wrestlers and autograph sessions or whatever, that they're looking out for everybody. I think WWE does do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I don't know what they're waiting for, but they really should.
No. Well, I think they're waiting for maybe something to subside, or next couple of weeks things could change. But
next couple of weeks is Mania.
Worse. I know that, but they're saying things could get worse before they get better. People are thinking it's tapering off, but it's really not. Again, it's being informed and pretty much, again, washing your hands, not touching your face. But people do stuff by habit sometimes. Even on Saturday night, we were told our door guys had a big problem with taking money from people and stuff, and they were wearing gloves. And it was pretty warm out on Saturday night. It was, it's been unseasonably warm here in the Northeast. So there was talk, and it went on for about 2 hours after the show went off, of door guys and bouncers being concerned of searching people and touching people. There was a lot of back and forth. I'm not kidding you. And it's been going on across the boards in clubs and bars and restaurants, and business is a little bit down, 30% in some places, because people don't want to touch a glass. The bartender coughed. Someone did that the other day at a place I worked at. I was like, is your bartender sick? I was like, why? She's coughing all over the place. And the girl's like, I coughed once. I have allergies. It was a whole to-do, DT. This is what's going on right now.
Yeah, you gotta be very careful. And, you don't want to take a chance. It's a risk. And like I said, look, AEW is going to have events where they're going to be brawling at ringside, and there's going to be some touching and here and there. But WrestleMania is a whole different animal because you got so many fans coming from abroad. And
all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. Now, it's going to be interesting in some countries because of the travel ban. So, I expect some countries to have a lot less of a presence this year. But again, I think WWE should be proactive on this. They should have already announced something. So WWE, if you're listening, really, you gotta don't wait.
Little package thing.
Yeah, little gift bag. Everybody gets a sanitizer and a mask and whatever else.
Good idea.
Just something I was thinking about. Want to give a special shout out to Marco. Don't want to mention his last name, but he's a big-time fan of the show. Been listening since 2007, 34 years old, suffering from cystic fibrosis. I just really heartfelt thank you for what you wrote. And, I appreciate even some of you that I met at big events. Some of the stories that you told me, I don't want to mention them publicly, but Mish was standing right there, and there was one or two times that we looked at each other and, just really got a little choked up at some of the stories. So, thank you as always for the support. Want to shout out our returning patrons, Tabitha Mason, Corey Francis, Zach Spoonemore, Stephen Hart, Tony Moffitt, Raymond Pagella, and Franklin Taylor. The pay-per-view predictions contest from yesterday, I went through them late last night. We got a winner, and we got a runner-up. Out of 36 possible points, Mark Ness, longtime patron, I'm happy. I think this is the first time you won, my friend. He got 34 out of 36 points. Lee Friel gets the runner-up consolation prize with 31 points. Asuka was the last person eliminated in the women's chamber, the Usos in the men's tag chamber. The longest match was the men's tag at 32 minutes, 55 seconds. The shortest match was the IC title match with 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And I just want to congratulate, both of them, and I'll definitely get in touch with you on Patreon. And once again, patreon.com/DonTony if anybody wants to check it out. And that's pretty much it. We'll get in some more plugs later, but we got 2 deaths to report in the world of pro wrestling. One, I know a lot of you heard of before. You've heard of him, and one you probably haven't. First, we got to give our condolences to the family, friends, and fans of Rip Oliver, Crippler Rip Oliver. Was placed in hospice a little over a week ago. And as we were talking last week about hospice, once you're in there, that's it. The party's over. He died at age 67. I know you followed his career. I mean, I'm posting a couple of pictures of him now. One with Bruiser Brody, and people may remember him because I played the clip when Playboy Buddy Rose, became a baby face. He was he had a great tag team with Rip Oliver back in Portland. So, but he died 67 years old, a little bit young.
He was, and he was, shout out to Billy Jack Haynes too, for real. Billy shared the post, wrote me a note, because Billy and him were good friends. They stayed good friends. They were bitter enemies in wrestling, I'm doing finger quotes, in the early 80s. Billy started out with Rip, and they remained friends for over 35 years, close to 40 years. I know Billy was very much affected by it. It was one of his true friends in the business, and he had always given health reports on how Rip was doing and stuff. So yeah, they go back a long way, and he was one of those territorial heels. If you guys look him up, go to Portland clips for Don Owens, and Rip Oliver was the man over there. He feuded with Roddy Piper, Billy Jack Haynes. He was the guy. He was that guy over there back in the day. Never really made it in the bigs. When he went to the NWA, WWE, he was an enhancement guy, but he was in the territories, especially in Portland. He was a big deal.
Yeah, I listen, just very quickly too. We are going to get into Raw in detail in about 5 minutes. We just want to give our rest in peace wishes to two wrestlers. So I just want to let everybody know that we're asking.
Who's the other guy, Dante?
Well, some of you out there may remember an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event where the Ultimate Warrior squashed someone by the name of the Super Ninja. That actually was Rip Oliver.
That's right.
Towards the end of his career. He was pretty much done, I think, by the late 80s, 87 around there. But
yeah, late 80s.
Yeah.
He debuted in the mid-70s. So.
Yeah. Another wrestler that died, most known in the UK. His name was Wayne Bridges. And I'm putting up a couple of photos of him as well. William Regal paid his tributes to him. Fit Finlay as well. I got a picture of him with Fit Finlay. That's him on the right. By the way, his wife, and I have a picture posted right now. His wife, if you think Nicole Bass, pretty much went the same route. She was a monster bodybuilder, but he wrestled for the UK. I think at one point he might have come to the United States. I don't know if he actually wrestled any matches in the WWF, but I know Vince Sr. actually wanted him to come in for a little bit. 83 years old, really good looking guy, very, very talented. I watched some of his work on YouTube, but on a non-wrestling note, and I actually did a little bit of checking, and it appears that this is accurate. He actually was the stunt double, for Sean Connery in all of the James Bond films that he was in.
Really? I was going to say, he's a handsome guy. He looks Italian, doesn't he? He looks like an Italian.
Yeah.
He looks Italian. He's got like that Stallone-ish kind of look. But yeah, he looks like an actor or something. I see a couple of young pictures of him looking at online now.
Yeah.
So he was a stunt double for all the Sean Connery.
Well, that's what a couple of tribute sites had posted, and I did a little bit of searching on some of Sean Connery's James Bond films, and two of them had a credit in there for his name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention him because, here in the United States, 99.9% of fans out there never heard of the guy. But, he was a pretty big deal in the UK. And, a lot of wrestlers who performed in the UK and fans as well were paying tribute to him, too. So wanted to give condolences. A lot of websites, unfortunately, are just going to bypass it, or they don't even know who he is and will write, "We are very saddened by the death of Wayne Bridges." You don't even know who the fuck he is. You're saddened. I hate when they post that generic stuff. You got to pay a little tribute, do a little research, look up his stuff. Maybe you write one or two sentences that no one else is writing about instead of just cut and paste. "We are saddened for the death." That's why I hate checking out websites. Case in point, everybody and their mother writing about, take her in a tag. Take her in a tag. Mania, take her in a tag. Take her in a tag. I just felt that, and look, how we felt and what we want are two totally different things. Taker in a tag just did not feel marquee. But at the same time, we talked about it yesterday. I am very concerned about Undertaker's age and his recent matches. And they tried to use reality in AJ Styles' promo today. AJ Styles knocked it out of the park. Kind of went in areas that we really never hear anybody do when it comes to Undertaker. They didn't even let Roman Reigns get that far into Undertaker's personal life. Calling him old man, Mark Calloway, married, kids. It's just AJ Styles, obviously he got permission, but, really taking that reality route. Because almost everything that he said, other than Michelle McCool, trying to run him into the ground, and you want to know something, Kev, between you and me and everybody listening, and I know you being a New York Italian guy like me, we're probably a little guilty of it a little bit more than others out there. But sure. Women don't necessarily intentionally try to run men into the ground. But we have, especially us being Italians and New Yorkers, we have like a little bit bigger ego. And I've talked about this before. My father, he fell off a ladder, broke vertebrae in his neck. He's got to go for another surgery in 2 months. And the thing is when he got hurt and he walked into my mother's house, he's flexing. I'm fine. I just want to lay down for a little while. You don't want to admit to your woman that you are injured or you're beat up and this and that. No matter how much pain you're in, I'm fine. Give me a beer. I'm fine. And with Undertaker, they really, AJ Styles' promo really reflected on a lot of what we have been complaining about with The Undertaker for the last couple of years. He should have retired after Roman Reigns. That match was an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Not because Undertaker sucks, but he's mortal. Yeah. He's getting older. We all have loved ones, friends, people we idolize, sports, athletes, that unfortunately as they get older, you realize that they are mortal. Undertaker, the same thing. And the promo was great today. But at the same time, though, it's like, I don't know. I just like, all right, you just pretty much said everything that we already feel about the situation, and that makes it a storyline for Mania. I thought AJ Styles knocked it out of the park, but at the same time, though, anybody could take someone's real-life situation, insult them over it, and boom, storyline.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know how you felt about that.
I thought it was a good promo. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't somebody called Undertaker by his real name before? Is this the first time?
No, there's been a couple of times. Yeah, there's been a couple of times. I mean, I could Google it, but there's been a couple of times.
The Michelle McCool thing, I actually thought he might have even taken a page out of even more real life of the recent tweet about her being in the top 45 with that tweet about her being mad about it. I thought he was going to say something about that. But he stuck to, basically, putting the Undertaker down for his age and that he should retire and his wife runs the family or whatever. I thought it was an interesting way to go after Undertaker, kind of question his manhood to a degree. I thought he was going to come out, but obviously that didn't happen. But I was one of the guys, truth be told, in case you didn't hear me a couple of times, I thought he was going to be in the tag too with Aleister Black to help elevate.
Yeah, but you weren't doing what these people online were doing. You were expressing why you felt it should be a tag, and I agree with you. It should be a tag because all the focus is going to be on Taker. And to me, they should make it a street fight. They should make it no DQ. Hopefully this time around, Gallows and Anderson aren't standing around ringside like goofs for 10 minutes, but they really should make it no DQ. And there's still a couple of weeks left. Michelle McCool may show up. We may have a carbon copy of Orton and Phoenix. Maybe AJ Styles, and think about it. Didn't Michelle McCool used to use a move that AJ Styles uses?
Did she when she was a solo or when she was in
what move out there that if I could swear I mean, look, I was never a fan of Michelle McCool.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I only know the tag team with Layla and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't remember her as a solo too much.
I don't know I don't think she used the Styles Clash. It might have been the Styles Clash, but just think about it. AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash on McCool, especially since she used to use that as well. I could see that happening before Mania. And you kind of, look, the closest we ever got to this much reality with Undertaker was with Sarah and Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
You know, when Sarah came out, and that was Undertaker's first wife. So I would not be surprised if that incorporated. Personally, I think it should. I don't know if it should mimic what they did with Randy Orton and Beth Phoenix, and we'll talk about Edge in a minute. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to Freddie J. Mario twins don't want shout outs. Oh, this Mario twins don't want shout outs. I don't know what you meant by that, but I appreciate the love though. So shout out to Freddie J. Freddie J. But no, I like the promo, but it just felt, I guess that's the only way they could really go with this. But again, we mentioned it yesterday. I'm a little concerned. AJ Styles can still go, and he has to really slow it down to do it with Undertaker. That's why I think it has to be a no DQ match. Let them brawl. You know, not necessarily into the crowd because of coronavirus, but let them brawl around the ringside area. Let them brawl up the rampway. You know, keep Undertaker on his feet as much as possible.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, next week's
she did. They show me someone showed me a clip, DT. Sorry to cut you off. Of Michelle McCool doing like a Styles. Yeah, Styles.
Yeah, so she did the Styles.
I don't remember her doing that, but yeah, she did it pretty sloppy. But there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, in fact,
not as good as AJ, but
they should somehow incorporate that back onto TV. You know, maybe AJ Styles brings up how Michelle McCool always idolized him, or you know, she fantasized him. She used to, you know, do the Styles Clash. You know, we'll see.
Kind of do what Samoa Joe did to him with his wife. Him do that to the Undertaker.
I don't know. See, there's only 3 weeks left to Mania, so there's really not that much. And next week's a contract signing, so you know, maybe you do something next week. The week after is really the only other time you could do it, because the final week will just be the brawl leading up, you know, to Mania. So they really only have one extra week to do it. So if they're going to do something, it's got to go into gear next week. I mean, I'm not saying Undertaker's wife should be at ringside next week, but I almost feel now that Undertaker's wife should appear at Mania, and maybe she gets a shot into AJ Styles as well.
Yep, good idea.
So we will see. Tonight also, we had Angel Garza lose to Mysterio. Yeah. I think, as we said yesterday, this feels like it's going to lead to a 4-way, 5-way, or a 6-way for Andrade's title at Mania, because now we're only 3 weeks left. So if they announce a match next week, even if Angel Garza, you know, challenges Andrade, you know, look, you don't lose stock when you lose to Mysterio, Hall of Famer. So Angel Garza is fine. But usually don't want to challenge for a title a week after you just lost a high-profile match. So I almost feel like they gave Mysterio the win to even the playing field with Garza. Now it feels like Carrillo should win a match next week, and then maybe the week after you have Carrillo, Garza, Mysterio, Andrade. I know it's all Latino. I have no problem with that. You know, so... You know, but Garza loses today, and Garza, you know, maybe he knew the woman, you know, the women that he was interacting with, but
probably
he lost. He lost today, you know.
But as you say, DT, he might have lost, but he doesn't lose much.
No, he doesn't lose much at all.
Because he's a future player, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I really think Carrillo and Garza should team up. I don't think they need to be like a faction with Andrade or Mysterio. You know, I don't think that would work, because, by the way, what the hell is going on with Dominic?
His son?
Yeah. I mean, look, it feels like they got his feet wet. He broke his cherry, did a little stuff on TV, and then they took him off TV because of the Brock Lesnar attack. But why is this guy, like, not factored in at all? I'm a little confused. Like, why is he not
maybe
there
they
anymore?
reanalyzed it and he's not ready for prime time, so to speak, you know?
Yeah, but I would think that...
I mean, DT, we talked about this. It's like Bigfoot. Where are the clips of him online that are legit? I know he's trained by, Lance Storm?
There were some clips.
Are there anybody ever actually see a clip of this guy in a match? I haven't.
Lance, I saw a little bit of work in Lance Storm's school, and he looked pretty decent.
Any like matches working a territory? Or something?
No, I'll be honest with you. I never really searched out to see like his match retrospect because he's still training, but he also trained in the development, the performance center. So he's got some decent moves, but. To introduce him to TV, yes, he got taken out by Brock, but it's like, how do you incorporate him back in? I'm a little surprised that they held him off this long.
I don't know, unless he factors into a later date.
Yeah. Oh, he has to. He has to. I mean, he's got some pretty good tools. I mean, he's still very, very young. There's no rush, but I would have thought that by now you would have saw him back on TV a little bit. Maybe he shows up at Mania. Not in the match, but maybe he shows up at Mania.
Could be.
Yeah. What'd you think of, I was a little confused. I honestly thought WWE was going to go off the air tonight with Edge making his return. I found it a little odd that they did it halfway through. And they did it. I mean, look, obviously somebody needed to be the sacrificial lamb with the concerto, someone that doesn't need to be on TV for the foreseeable future. So they thought, okay, we'll have MVP be the one to, be the sacrificial lamb. But I was a little confused that they decided to do that around hour 2 instead of closing it out. In my opinion right now, Edge and Randy Orton is what I am looking forward to most at WrestleMania. Me and too. Who the fuck gave a shit about an 8-man tag to close? I mean, I don't know. To me, the hottest feud right now, even though he hasn't been on TV for a while, which is Edge, is Orton and Edge. How do you not have that close out Raw tonight? An 8-man tag. Whoop-de-fucking-do. We've had so many variations of those guys closing out Raw in recent memory. What is the ratings have to go down to 1.1? The fucking ECW on TNN levels before they, maybe we really should mix it up a little bit. I just was really confused by that tonight.
No, especially since Seth Rollins has been a proven, dead fucking draw at the end of the fucking final hour. He's not a guy to close out the show. It's always really dismal when he closes out the show. I'm going to be interested to see what the ratings are tomorrow for that final 30 minutes. And he got to get his win back against Montez Ford, of course. Montez pinned him last week, so he had to get his win back. Saw that coming. But yeah, the Edge thing, I was surprised Edge and Orton didn't close it out. That would have been the right way to go from every aspect. It's the hottest feud in the company right now, and Edge makes those great facial expressions. Edge looked enraged. He's always got those big eyes and he's got that face. He just knows how to sell it. And Orton too was great. Orton looking on like with that look when he was giving the concerto to MVP. It was a good angle. It was a little short. I think they could have drew it out a little bit more in the back, chase him around or whatever. A little bit more violence there. But again, I guess they'll wait for WrestleMania. They're not going to give you too much.
You getting a little vibe that Murphy and AOP might ultimately walk out on Seth Rollins?
Well, I was telling you, I saw it tonight, if you saw the way it ended, and I thought that Murphy was in the doghouse. Seth summoned him out of the ring when he was celebrating, and he told him back off. And even the announcers acknowledged, Murphy told to stay at bay, let Rollins revel in his victory or whatever. And you saw the close-up of Murphy. I'm like, he's on his way out. Wow, already they're going to get rid of this fucking dude? Again, unless they got plans to bring in Ricochet or someone or really turn somebody out of the blue, And it's just being a wrestling fan, just having fun here. Maybe Ricochet will be a new ministry member, which might resurrect his career. He's dying right now. Buddy Murphy,
what are you talking about? He's a main eventer. He's a main eventer.
I realize he main event, Saudi. Listen,
he opened up main event tonight against your neighbor Eric Young.
He fought Eric Young. Yeah, I got to give Eric his
in main event tonight. Back. So Ricochet, hey, I could picture if Vince was a gangster, like an Italian gangster. Hey, Ricochet, you wanted to be in the fucking main event? I put you in the fucking main event. You're on main event. You're the fucking main event today against Eric Young. Get the fuck out there. Shut the fuck up. Go stick your finger in your ass and shut up.
Oh, geez. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, dissension already. This, again, what is with these crews just evaporating so quickly? Again, they don't draw anything out. Horsemen around for a couple of years before there was dissension. DX, and you go back to the strongest crews. Even the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, they didn't have guys. I mean, eventually they kicked everybody out, but it just seems very brief to already be on the outs with Murphy and Seth. How long has Murphy been part of this crew? 6 weeks? 8 weeks? I mean, already he's on. Unless they're saying this is not working, it's not clicking. I think they just have no time for anybody. DT, they don't invest anymore. That just doesn't work. Goodbye. They can't keep doing that because they're never going to get anybody over.
Did you see? Just totally unrelated. Did you see the chest hair picture of myself with Daphne from 2002?
No, but I probably should have seen it because
I've never posted it before. I posted it last week as a joke, but I just did it as a funny goof online so people get an idea of some of the goofy stuff you're going to see, from that super chat stuff. So yeah, if you want to see like chest hair on top of chest hair, yeah, I can poke a little fun at myself. That's the Jerry the King Lawler haircut that I had at that time with the Jerry the King Lawler goatee. And trust me, I was not a Jerry the King Lawler fan in 2002. So I have no idea where that came from. But
was that when Daphne was calling the show and you met her? Because I still have my picture from back then. She gave us pictures.
That might have been around 2002 because I actually knew her for that was actually 2001 when everything with the hotline came down. 2002 is when she came into XPW and stuff. That photo was from the Chiller convention.
I don't know if you remember. You got me a picture of her, maybe 2003, 2004.
I still have
to me. I still have it on my wall.
I have tons of autographed photos from her still that she gave me back then. I mean, because a lot of people don't even know I used to print all her promo photos too. I think.
I know it's a personalized one.
Yeah,
and I got it. I still got it on my wall.
Yeah, so that's just I wanted to post that so people could see. When we have some fun with the super chat. Trust me, I'm going to put some outrageous pictures up there. Some I've never posted before. And if somebody really pushes it, I have the photo right now prepared of yours truly 100 pounds heavier. 110 pounds heavier. I've never posted online. Actually, I should take that back. On my personal Facebook page, I posted a very long time ago, but everybody out there has never seen it. And if somebody really wants to see it that bad, it'll eventually come out. So I got tons of stuff on just staring at me right in the face. So we'll have some fun with that later on. But getting back to Raw, the Kabuki Warriors.
Oh, God, that promo was gold.
Do you understand now why I said a month ago that WWE wanted them to be like the Iconics, annoying-wise? I thought tonight was the perfect example of it. Like, the only thing that they just don't do at the very end go, eek and eek. They are annoying, yelling, laughing. That's what the Iconics. But the difference is the Kabuki Warriors kick ass in the ring. And, I'm a big fan of both Kairi Sane and Asuka. And I get a kick out of what they're doing. My main concern, and I mentioned this about 3 weeks ago, and I got the same fear tonight, and I'm almost convinced that the Kabuki Warriors are going to lose. And, I know the segments that she does is called a moment of bliss. I call it a moment to piss. So I'm concerned that Kabuki Warriors are going to lose the tag titles at WrestleMania to the team of a moment to piss. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I just feel that coming. I don't know why. Maybe it ends up being like a gauntlet tag team. I just hope especially after the performance that Kairi Sane did, the main event, the pay-per-view not too long ago. Right. The fact that Asuka has been the most talented woman on Raw, match after match after match after match, that they are rewarded at WrestleMania for retaining their titles. And for people that don't know, WWE reported tonight, they broke that Jeff Hardy's going to be on SmackDown Friday, so it looks like, he's going to stay on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, and a lot of people I think might be unfortunately blowing this too out of proportion, Paige is going to be on SmackDown Friday. And she posted a tweet saying, looks like I'm back to work. And they said that she has had it with Bayley. She wants to confront Bayley. A lot of people are now thinking that Paige is returning to the ring. Some people are even jumping the gun and saying, oh my God, it might be Paige versus Bayley at WrestleMania. I'm getting the vibe that Paige is showing up on SmackDown in a talking segment with Bayley. I don't look, would I love to see Paige return to the ring? Abso-fucking-lutely. I would love, she had the documentary about her. Obviously there were some segments that were not included in the documentary, kind of like the NWA, the documentary that they did. But not that WWE did, but the NWA, the rap group, they kind of like left some things out to make the certain things about the history in a much more positive light. But with Paige, especially with everything that has gone on, to have her actually return back to the ring and have that Daniel Bryan moment and be able to perform again, I would love to see it. I just don't think that that's in the cards. I think she comes back Friday to confront Bayley. I'm still holding out hope that it's Bayley versus Sasha at Mania. Maybe Paige is the one that stirs the shit between Sasha and Bayley. Maybe when she calls out Bayley, Sasha comes out with Bayley, and Paige kind of like puts the thought in Sasha's head, like, how come you're not challenging? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like Paige is going to be more of an instigator between Sasha and Bayley than anything else. I don't know. Where do you think this is going to go?
I don't know, but I tell you, that would be some get to get her back. I'd really pop the crowd. Say what you want. Everyone's been critical of her at some point. She deserved the criticism in certain aspects of her career, but she's over. She's, helped start this whole thing. She really did. I know the Bellas would differ with me on that, but she's a good get, and she's a star, and she's young. She looks good. She has her fan base, much like the Bellas. Fan base will kill you if you attack her too much. I've learned that the hard way. They'll go after you big time, Paige fans. But credit where credit, that's an announcement. If she comes back and she goes after Bayley, you got a nice match there. You got something that people are like, oh, I like this. This is really good. And they need that in the women's division, DT. They do. If she gets clear, listen, there people are mentioning now, they cleared Edge, they cleared Daniel Bryan, they cleared this one, they cleared Darby Allin, they cleared that one who's been injured. Maybe. We don't know. I mean, I don't know. No one has any. I haven't heard anybody have any inside scoops. It's all speculation, but I think it's going to be in a talking capacity, but maybe an announcement of a possible comeback. Who knows? But got to admit, DT, that's a great announcement for WrestleMania if they could pull that off, or they pull it off in general of her just coming back at some point this year.
I just feel like if Paige's announcement was going to be to return back to the ring, first of all, why even mention Bayley's name in the same sentence? They should have just said Paige is a major announcement to make it on Friday SmackDown. That would make the internet go nuts to say, oh my God, she might be returning back to the ring. And all the focus is on Paige. She can announce the return to the ring, then she could call out Bayley. Or Paige announces her return to the ring, and then she's interrupted by Bayley's music, and Bayley starts fucking with Paige, and that leads to a match. That's where I would go with it if she was making the announcement of returning to the ring. That's why I don't think she's returning to the ring, because the fact that she's showing up to confront Bayley. You know what that kind of makes me feel like? When didn't Edge, I'm not talking recently, but didn't Edge like a year or two ago, didn't he return to confront someone? We had a Hall of Famer come back to confront somebody on the roster. You know, just to have Paige show up, she's fed up with Bayley. I'm not trying to be an asshole here because I'm one of the biggest supporters of Paige. Any longtime listener knows I've defended her 1,000 times more than anybody else. But let's be honest for a minute. Paige in storyline is fed up with Bayley. Oh, fucking well. You don't wrestle anymore. Too fucking bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's fed up with Bayley, what is she going to do? She can't bring out her Kabuki Warriors anymore because they don't have her anymore as a manager. So I think the only reason why she's on Friday is to confront Bayley because of her tactics, and this kind of stirs up something with Sasha Banks. That's what it feels like to me. I just hope we don't get, you know, where they threaten to like rough up Paige and then Lacey Evans and Naomi make the save and this and that. It's just, I just feel it's an interview segment. I don't see anything more. I wish it would be more, but it feels like it's just an interview segment.
And you think it'd just be too hard to contain if she was coming back? It would have just leaked out at this point?
I think with everything that has gone on, if she was returning to the ring, you do similar with Daniel Bryan. You say that Paige has a major announcement to make on Friday SmackDown. That's it. And let the internet blow it up and say, oh my God, she's going to return. She's going to return. Just it feels cheapened by she's fed up with Bayley. Why? You know what I mean? If you really think about it, you know, fed up with her, why? You know, it's like, yeah. And what are you going to do? I'm fed up with you. Oh, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. You know, it's just like, I'm just, by the way, everybody seemed to get a kick yesterday. Some people just wished, since I'm on video, that I would do the, you know, the swivel with like Otis with the stomach and everything. You know, if some people in super chats, you know, I'm not trying to be a troll right now or a shill, everybody, that I got to whore myself out. It's just that a lot of people are educating me about YouTube and they're like, dude, man, you know, somebody, you know, throws a good. I got tons of bills, man. I still owe $8,000 on an engagement ring. Like when I did it last,
sexual favors for $5.
No, but last night when I did the impersonation of Otis, so like I should have got out of my chair and started picking up my stomach, your shirt, going, oh yeah, you know. But you know, if somebody wants it that bad, I'll do that. I don't care. I'll laugh at myself. But I rewatched Otis's work in the Chamber. I'm impressed with Tucker. I don't know if it would be smart for WWE to break them up at Mania. I don't know what is more important to them, the storyline and a real big swerve or a revelation. This is the thing I think fans should really think about right now. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have a major swerve in that storyline to find out that it was Tucker who was screwing Otis so his focus would remain on Heavy Machinery and not Pussy? Or would you rather see Heavy Machinery remain as a tag team and win the titles at Mania? I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's going to be Otis and Ziggler one-on-one at Mania. Yeah, and those are the same people that said it's going to be a tag match. Taker in the tag. You know, there's people out there speculating. As I said yesterday, as I said a week ago, as I said 2 weeks ago, do not discuss matches until they're announced. Because you have all these morons on all these websites that say, oh, WWE changed this match. They never fucking announced the original match. They changed nothing. You got your prediction wrong, you know, journalists. So I just think, which would you rather have? Would you rather, because look, the Lana Lashley storyline with the wedding, you know, they tried to throw us a major swerve by having Liv be attracted to Lana or having some relationship. You saw that went nowhere. Yeah, went garbage. That might have even damaged Liv. You know, she's in a bathtub. She's going to transform herself. What did she, you know what the only transformation that she did she probably stuck her head in the tub and all of the fucking blue ink on her tongue washed off from the bath soap. I mean, what transformation did she have? She took a bath. You're going to see the new Liv. Yeah, I removed the tongue paint. You know, so do you want a major swerve? Which would you rather have, Kev? A major swerve in the storyline with Otis, and maybe Tucker is a revelation instead of Sonya Deville, or would you rather have Heavy Machinery win the tag titles at Mania?
I'd rather see Heavy Machinery win. Tucker's been working hard. I fear the same thing like a lot of people fear for that team, that Tucker will suffer the consequences of the breakup. Again, why so quick to disband? Why so quick to kick people to the side who are part of a crew, part of a team that's over? No, it's one thing for Buddy Murphy, because I don't know if they'll ever get him over fully. He's a great wrestler, but he just doesn't connect to the crowd. But Tucker has really proven himself in the last couple of matches. He's working hard. People were cheering him on. He was doing a lot of the legwork while Otis was knocked unconscious outside on several occasions the last couple of matches. I think they're great as a team. I wouldn't break them up. It's like the Steiners reminds me of, and you always say, DT, Otis reminds you of old school dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner, and I could see that a lot in him, by the way. I'm curious if Otis will ever say that's an influence of his. But Tucker has size. He could be something without. Maybe we're all underestimating if Tucker's worth something without Otis, but it's a little too early yet. But I would rather see something out of something. Sonya Deville is too obvious. Tucker is too obvious. Maybe something else. Someone else is involved. I don't know. Maybe another girl has a crush on Otis in the back, and she was doing this. Someone maybe likes him, and maybe there's another love interest for him. Maybe there's that kind of swerve, DT. I don't want to see them break up, though. I want to see Heavy Machinery get the belts, and I want to see Tucker and Otis celebrate together. They work, and them calling him Tucky and stuff. They got a good thing going on here. Why break it up?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to see Otis and Ziggler one-on-one at Mania.
Oh, no.
I don't even want something like, just think about that for a minute. Can you imagine Mandy Rose? You two fight at Mania, and the winner gets me. I mean, you know, that's like a 70s bad sitcom. That's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Remember the Bugs Bunny cartoon where they're both
olive oil, Popeye and Bluto. You know,
yeah, maybe for a fucking cartoon. But I remember the Bugs Bunny one where Bugs Bunny and another bunny were trying to like compete for this female bunny, and they're going up the hole, and Bugs Bunny comes out with like a ring or flowers. This one comes out with a ring. This one comes out with a car. This one comes out with a house. And they're trying to compete. That's like worse than a cartoon. The winner gets me. You know,
Lola Bunny, her name was.
Lola Bunny. But think about this for a minute. And I'm just talking about character right now. I'm not talking about personal, but just think of Mandy Rose, the character. That what wholesome Southern hick, really nice guy like Otis. Why would you want a woman who is willing to go with the other guy if he beats your ass? You know what I mean? Like, if you think of his whole homely mama's boy stuff, like, you want a woman that falls for you. You know, not that, because I win a challenge, I get the girl. That means she's not emotionally invested in you. To me, that just, it makes him look like a goof, in my opinion. I don't want to see this man, and please do not put her on a forklift or in a cage or anything like that. I just think the one-on-one idea, after yesterday, and I'll bring it up again since everybody got a kick out of it. Yesterday, when you hear the announcers, go back and watch it. He's finally going to get his hands on Ziggler. He's finally going to get, and then he picks him up and just tosses him off the top rope. Like, really, like, slowly, and he falls. And no, like, anger, punches, kickers, nothing like this. He just tosses him. Oh, yeah! Fucking Kool-Aid guy, you know? Oh, yeah, Kool-Aid. You know, and I'm a big fan of Otis. I've been saying it for a while. Otis is going to be a future main eventer in WWE. Maybe he gets the Rocky run. You know, maybe he gets the opportunity of a lifetime going for a singles title. You know, not yet, but WWE's got to be careful thinking this through a little bit. You know, getting the girl is nice, but how he gets the girl is just as important. Personally, if you really want to do like an 80s bad movie, you have them win the tag titles at Mania. None of this one-on-one shit. And after they win the tag titles at Mania, Mandy Rose now all of a sudden shows that she's attracted to Otis because he's a winner and he got the tag titles. And then Otis looks at her and says, bye, Mandy. Bye, Mandy. You remember like an 80s high school movie where this guy wants this girl and the girl thinks he's a goof and a nerd or something like that. And it could be like a Revenge of the Nerds.
Can't Buy Me Love. And DT, I'm surprised you didn't bring up a classic episode of a show you love, Three's Company. Remember when Jack Tripper had to box that guy for the girl? Remember that episode?
Yeah, but he tried to box for the girl. You know what I mean? Like he shouldn't have done that in the first place. I think Otis should win the belts with Tucker if they're going to keep him as a team. And then because they won, Mandy's attracted to the gold, attracted to the winner. And then Otis looks at her and goes, bye, Mandy. You know what I mean? Like he's not into her anymore it's a love storyline that never happened. How many soap operas? I didn't watch soap operas when I was growing up, but my mom did. How many soap operas or how many TV shows did people fantasize somebody fooling around with? Yeah, I remember I watched the other day Hunter. Remember when Hunter, everybody was like,
Fred Dryer.
When is Fred Dryer? When is he going to bang the girl? Like you would have.
Stephanie, that girl Stephanie, yeah.
Yeah. There's been sitcoms where one woman, a woman and a guy, like people were wondering, like there was one that I watched not too long ago. There was an older 90s sitcom where there was a guy and a girl. I can't remember what it was. Maybe someone in the chat remembers. Where they finally had a relationship towards the end of the sitcom. I can't remember what it was. But, but there's many sitcoms where they never have the relationship.
Oh, Mork and Mindy was like that. I mean, you go back to the 70s.
I thought
they started out as, Pam Dauber and Robin Williams. They started out as friends, and then they got romantic. Then they had kids together.
Listen, I was just a young kid watching that show. It's not Friends. It's not Friends. It was another TV show where two people, professional relationship towards the end of the sitcom, the series, they finally started having a relationship together.
Moonlighting? Bruce Willis?
I don't think it was Will and Grace. It wasn't Family Man. Now people are just guessing. Dawson's Creek. Why would anybody out there think that I ever liked Dawson's Creek?
Dude, you're not that young. You didn't watch Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek.
That's a different generation than me and you.
Seinfeld, it was the opposite, everybody. Seinfeld got laid, and then they got laid, and then they didn't. That's the opposite. But there was many...
Tony Maselli and Who's the Boss and the woman he was working for, they wound up in a couple together.
Yeah. But I can't remember what's there. I'll remember it next week and I'll tell everybody. But it definitely was not Friends. I never liked Mad About You either. But
Mad About You.
It's not Moonlighting, but that's not a bad one. But I'll remember next week. I'll remember it next week.
Someone said Perfect Strangers. I don't think those two guys wound it up.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. It wasn't Friends. I'm positive it wasn't Friends. It was a sitcom with a woman and a guy. And then towards the end, like the last season or two, they finally started banging each other, for a short period of time. But there were many sitcoms where people were like, when are they going to kiss? When are they going to kiss? And then they never do. So I think Otis and Mandy Rose should never have that kiss. Let them get really close, and then Otis says, bye, Mandy. And I think that would just make people melt. Seriously.
DT, was it the Wonder Years?
No, I'll remember it next week. I'll remember it next week. I wish, trust me, if somebody would nail it, I would immediately say, that's it. But it's not anybody. I will remember next week. I will definitely remember next week. Oh, and by the way, I got to mention this too, because we're almost done. Last week, when we were talking about Cena and The Fiend, I said that it felt really, really rushed. And I brought up Hogan and Andre WrestleMania 3. And I said that they stretched that out a couple of weeks. And I will admit when I am wrong, and I was wrong. I think, and the only excuse I could give is back then we would have superstars, championship wrestling, all-star wrestling. We would have like 2 or 3 wrestling shows a week, and things would be repeated for 1, 2, 3 weeks at a time. I mean, my God, when Andre had the body slam challenge with Big John Studd, it went on for like a month here in New York. I would wake up at midnight, the body slam challenge this week is $10,000. No, it isn't, Chief J. So, but the thing is that it felt like it really drew out like 2 or 3 weeks. But in all actuality, there was only 1 week time frame between when Andre ripped the chain off of Hogan, and then a week later when Hogan went, yes! So, but even with that still was a week. Cena and Fiend was like not even 2 minutes. Cena's crying, I'm going to step aside, let the young people, and just because a monster points, okay, all right, I'll fight. Like, tease him, do something for a week. But the problem was, why they didn't do it for a week? Because Cena was only going to be appearing just on 1 show for now.
Oh, man.
So
that's funny.
People are still trying to figure it out.
The people say Hill Street Blues, Cop Rock. Jesus
Christ.
No,
you know what? I'm telling you, I am 1,000. It wasn't. No, you see, people are just guessing.
Family Matters?
No. I will remember next week. I'll definitely remember next week. It was I'm pretty sure it was a 90s sitcom, and it's definitely one that nobody brought up. You know what? Sam Pugh got it. Got it. You know what, Sam? And I'm afraid to do this because something tells me I'm going to go back in the chat transcript and I'm going to realize that other people brought it up too. It was The Nanny. Who the fuck watched that? You know what it is? It's on Philo. Like Philo is like an online streaming service, and it was on the other day. I haven't watched The Nanny. I mean, I used to, bust a nut once in a while because she always wore mini skirts, but I haven't watched that since it aired on primetime TV. But the other day, they did an episode where she had like concussion or something, and I think Roseanne was driving a cab or something like that. And then, like she finally fooled around with the guy. And, it was The Nanny. That's definitely what it was, Fran Drescher. Because I remember back in the day, I'm like, is this guy fucking stupid? You got this unbelievable nanny. Just, I could see if she was 16 years old and it's like a bad episode of fucking the ID channel where a guy fools around with a 16-year-old babysitter. This is a fucking hot piece of ass in her 30s. Like, what are you doing? What are you, stupid? You Pinocchio? So, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so kudos. We finally got it. But yeah, that's what it was. It was The Nanny.
I agree with Mick. She was kind of a bonus trigger with that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Mish. Jesus. Did you actually watch that show, DT?
I actually did. And every time I would hear China, I would always think of her. Because China had that nasal voice too, but Fran Drescher, like I see, because I'm from Howard Beach, so there's a lot of women in this neighborhood that kind of like walk the same.
She was from Queens too, yeah. She was like the intro was like she was from Flushing, Queens.
It was like a nasal Peg Bundy. That's how I always looked at Fran Drescher.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, that's what it was. That's the one. So my friend, PM me. Or email me, dontony@dontony.com, your choice of any t-shirt, any Fed, could be AEW, whatever.
Give him a nanny t-shirt.
Yeah, right. So, but with that said, I think we're pretty close to being done, everybody. I think we covered pretty much everything. Shout out to all of our patrons. I plugged them during the show. We got the ticker. We're actually going to be changing things around. Like I said, this week I'm going to spend a lot of time online to, just add some features as far as video goes and everything. And like I said, this Thursday will probably be the day that Mish and I do breakfast soup. No bullshit. I mean, Mish and Shaheen this weekend drove 1,000 miles. They drove from Philly to New York, to Queens, New York, then went from Queens, New York to Boston, then went from Boston to Albany, and then went from Albany back to Philly. in 3 days because they had to they drove a few of the people that we were hanging out with around. So Mish is in the process of finally moving into his apartment. He was supposed to go in as of I think March 1st, but now he's moving his equipment in. So I know Tuesday he was trying to set up his computer equipment. And anybody that follows Wrestling Soup, you know that he unfortunately hasn't been able to appear the last week or two because, you know, he just changed his life, moved to a total different state. You know, it's not easy to transport, you know, your entire life from Chicago to Philly. So Thursday is the planned day that we are going to do it. Tomorrow you have Dark Chronicles on Patreon.
KNT Chronicles.
KNT Chronicles, my force of habit. Wednesday will be Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite. And don't know yet about Friday doing a Don Tony show. It depends if there's stuff to talk about. I mean, you know, if people want, you know, just like a little recap from Smackdown, I don't mind doing it. I just, like I said, I want the YouTube especially to grow slowly. And I don't want to just put clips up just to put clips up. You know, it's cool to have, you know, people tune in, stuff like that. But, you know, I want it to be quality, not quantity. I know there's people out there, you know, and then they have to post that they just farted or, you know, whatever it is. Oh, hey, I bought this roll of toilet paper today. You know, quality over quantity. Trying to think if there's anything else that we missed tonight.
We didn't mention Charlotte cut a promo and Rhea came out and smacked her in the face.
Yeah, you know, look, that's the same promo of Rhea Ripley that I talked about on Wednesday last week. And unfortunately, as I said last Wednesday, you watch her in the stadium and you realize as you see the banner in the background that, sorry, you're not going to see what's her face in the three-way, Bianca Belair. You're not going to see them in the three-way. I know a lot of us, you know, we're hoping that maybe she gets added. It ain't happening. Nope. By the way, I don't have the photo handy. I actually had downloaded it, and I know a lot of you out there. Oh, you know what? I do have it. I'll post it. Did you see the photo that was posted online of some of the WWE and the NXT women without makeup?
Yeah, I did. I actually saw that photo. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have the photo up right now. For those that may not recognize some of these faces, you have Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Io Shirai, and Ruby Riott.
Liv Morgan's not in that picture?
Huh?
Is Liv Morgan in that picture?
She is not in that picture.
Oh, that's Dana Brooke?
That is Dana Brooke. Believe it or not, when I first saw it, I wasn't sure if that...
I thought it was Liv Morgan.
Yeah. I mean, what's your thoughts on the picture? I mean, look, I understand we're in 2020, and I understand, you know, people expect people to be very polite, very politically correct. You know, and I'm not trying to, like, cause any controversy. I mean, what's your honest take of that photo?
My two favorites were Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is mad cute. And I like Ruby Riott just in general. Ruby Riott reminds me of somebody to hang out with at work. The girls all look fine. I'm not going to take shots. All the women look great. I did not recognize. I thought that was Liv Morgan. I did not know that is Dana Brooke. I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea that was her. That was the only one that took me aback. But everybody else, they're all cute.
You know what my take was with this photo? This is my honest, God-honest opinion on it. By the way, if you force me to choose who I thought was the cutest out of all of them, I would say it's a toss-up between Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. Maybe Rhea Ripley in a close third.
I agree.
But I'll say this. They're obviously all attractive without makeup. This is a guy, and I'm not trying to compare my fiance with them, and I'm not saying this so I could play it back for her and maybe get a blowjob out of it, you know, but this is the truth. My fiance wears almost no makeup all the time. We go out to a special occasion, yes, she'll have makeup. And, you know, for the Tom and others who've met me personally and actually met her, they'll tell you also, she don't wear makeup. All right? My fiance would look, unless we went to a wedding, she would look awkward. She would look different with makeup on. The reason why I'm saying this is this. You look at this photo, and everybody in it looks fine. They look attractive. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. They look beautiful. But here's my take on it. If they're so beautiful without makeup, why does WWE, why do you have to put makeup on them all the time? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand as part of your costume, you're wearing certain types of outfits and this and that. But the thing is that if you look beautiful natural, like, why not? Why do women in WWE or wrestling in general, why do they always have to wear makeup? I understand guys also have some makeup on to cover imperfections and this and that, but like, why do you have to make a statement of how you look without makeup? I understand the message is I'm comfortable in my own skin, and everybody out there should be comfortable in their own skin also, and you're beautiful outside and inside. But why not be in the ring without makeup too?
It's part of the showbiz, DT, right? Glitz and glamour, looking different, separating you from the regular people. It's part of the showbiz. It really is. That's what it is. It's on TV. It's HD. People want to look their best. Right? Everybody's got imperfections.
Look, I understand a little makeup. Cover up.
Even the most beautiful people have imperfections at the youngest ages. So, I mean, again, from teeth to skin, it's just part of the showbiz, And I think it's just they just won't pull that trigger, DT. Maybe they'll have a night with like no makeup night or some special edition of the women's division. But I think again, it's just it's part of the showbiz, and they'll do it for pictures, photo ops, but they won't go all the way with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know common sense. It's because of, showbiz and entertainment, and they look better. But I'm just saying that, if there's such a stark difference with makeup on and makeup off, like, I just feel, why does it have to be that much of a stark difference? You know what I mean? You're beautiful. I mean, you look at photos of Lana without makeup on. Sometimes she is totally unrecognizable. There is a photo floating around right now from last week, one or two photos that were posted without makeup on. And honestly, in my opinion, she looks better without makeup than with makeup. And again, I understand you want to hide some imperfections because you're an entertainment product and, this and that. I get it. But the thing is that when there's that much of a stark difference where you're almost unrecognizable without makeup on, maybe you put the makeup on so people don't recognize you without makeup. I don't know, but I just feel like if you're going to post photos really like emphasizing what you look like without makeup, then why is that not good enough to appear on television? They tried to do that a little bit. Didn't Dana Brooke come out for like one or two matches where she had no makeup on whatsoever, and they tried to make it a storyline and it went nowhere?
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, again, I'm looking at the picture again. Now I can tell it's Dana Brooke. People are saying to me, how can I not tell it's Dana Brooke? I thought it was Liv Morgan.
Yeah, and look, Louis, I'm sorry if this sounds like nitpicking, but, I'm just giving you an honest answer on it. I mean, you want me to just say, oh my God, they're hot. Girl, you're beautiful with makeup or without makeup on. Girl, you're beautiful.
You go, girl.
You go, girl. And no, I just feel like even just a regular talking segment, when Rhea Ripley's in the arena, looking in the empty stadium, show without makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you have to be totally caked up all the time with television? Maybe sometimes you lighten up a little bit on the makeup and show their natural beauty a little bit more.
I agree. I agree. They look good, hey, they look good both ways, makeup.
Man, I'm complimenting these women and people get annoyed at it. I don't get that. So anyway, I think we're done, everybody. So,
okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think we're done. I'm looking at some photos that I can have a field day having some fun right now, but we'll hold them off. We'll hold them off. I will show this one because I already posted on Instagram. If you want to see yours truly with the head of a basketball, you could go onto my Instagram. I have a couple of photos up there as well, but there's a couple of hidden gems that nobody's seen before, but we'll post those in due time. But anything else you want to get into before we go?
No, I think we covered everything. But the coronavirus is also delaying the shipment of new WWE figures. Did you see that? Do you think?
Yeah,
because they're made in China, so they're not allowing them.
Well, I mean, that's the stock market has taken a hit the last couple of weeks. Today was mostly because of gas and oil, but things with China right now, everything is slowing down a little bit. But I hope WWE really does that. I mean, they're not going to hear me say it, but, little gift bag, mask, sanitizer, announce it. It's a positive thing. I think that would be wise because it's only a matter of time that somebody out there for clickbait and to get some type of press amongst themselves is going to post an article that's going to just bring up the fact that WWE has taken no measures for safety precautions because of WrestleMania. WWE should be proactive and announce it before someone else puts a clickbait article up there.
Yeah. Right.
All right, Kev. I'll talk to you tomorrow for KNT Chronicles. And
anybody wants to sign up, anybody even on YouTube hasn't signed up for our Patreon yet, go to Patreon/DonTony. You could sign up tonight, sign up tomorrow, anytime. And join us live tomorrow night at 10:15 on Discord chat. You can join in the fun.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care, DT.
Talk to you tomorrow. Later.
Peace.
Okay. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please, as always, leave your feedback. I could tell for those listening live, if you really like, the video, and I dressed a little goofy today. First of all, it broke 8,000. So, which is awesome. Bravo to all of you that did that. But, just joking online earlier about Stuttgart. Before you leave, just hit the like button because it helps get a little bit more visibility online and, just gives me a little bit of, just a little bit more, exposure to others out there that are not even aware that yours truly is on video yet. So before you leave, just hit the like button. If you didn't like the show, hit the dislike button. I'd rather you be honest. But, and I see a lot of you doing that right now. Much love. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, all of you out there are making this so much fun. You have no idea. It's a lot of work, but it is so damn worth it. And like I said, I'm not kissing ass of any other podcaster out there, but I have an even bigger newfound respect for JD from New York, Joe Cronin, RCW, all of them, because I realize now how difficult it is to not only, run the helm, but do video as well. So I'm out of here. Be well, everybody. DTKC Show will return 1 week from today, which will be the 16th of March. I will return Wednesday for Wednesday Night Dynamite, and gonna have a fun show. Got a lot of stuff. One other thing. I don't have the artwork in front of me, but as you saw earlier, I did go to big event this weekend and got to meet Matt Hardy and a few others. Shaheen of Nuclear Heat is one of two wonderful artists that you see the artwork behind me. He did some beautiful artwork for Matt Hardy. And the theme is now that he is free from WWE once again. Matt Hardy autographed a few of these photos, very, very limited. And he is sending me a couple. So we're going to be giving them out on Wednesday Night Dynamite on consecutive weeks. So if you tune in live, another extra reason to tune in live. Somebody each week for the next couple of weeks. Probably start next week because I haven't gotten the photos in my hands yet. But tomorrow, on Wednesday, I'll post a picture live so you can see what it looks like. So probably one every week for a couple of weeks. And then we'll go segue into other gifts as well. And then maybe we can start using that, wheel that I have over here. So, all right, everybody, be well. Much love as always. Much appreciated. I'll catch you all again Wednesday with Wednesday Night Dynamite. Be well. Take care. Hey, oh. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Ugh. You know any Italians ever used to do that? Night, everybody.
Don-O-Mite.
It was fun to channel surf. It was kind of hard to do a little pocket pool after you hitting the last channel button 50 times for 2 hours plus.
Don-O-Mite.
And his whole idea of overanalyzing, oh, he's an alcoholic and he misplaced the belt. And how could you have someone champion like that? The fuck out of here.
Wednesday night.
Don-O-Mite, you can have fun. You really are.